Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now this was going to be the second video yesterday, but I finished the first video, I put it out, fancied a nap, woke up 16 hours later. Was awake for 2 hours, fell asleep for another 3. My body is just, woof, coming off this illness. It's just completely all over the place. But let's get into it today, because it involves our favourite company. Actually, saying that could be open for speculation, couldn't it? Is it Bethesda? No. Activision? Yeah. EA could be. Yeah. Take-Two. Woof! It could be a number, I suppose. But this involves Activision. Because this is ultimately where the decision has got to be from. But, that said, this whole situation is just insane. I think I put ridiculous on the thumbnail, but it's insane. So, this is the original story because, as you would expect from something so crazy, there has been a response to it. But the response is nuts. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is due for release when? 25th of October? Not far away now. Just less than a month or so away. And it's a remake. Oh, sorry. No, it's a reimagining. It's a reimagining of Modern Warfare, I believe. Now, Modern Warfare was probably the last COD game that I really liked. Maybe Black Ops. But I think that the first one, I wasn't sticking a number after it. But I think legitimately, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was the last COD game that I truly liked. The fact that COD is an annual franchise, the fact that it barely ever changes, it just, no. I've had it with it. I've had it with COD. And also, what was it? When did it come out? Modern Warfare came out 2007. So here we are 12 years later, right? And the industry going forward, we're getting a reimagining of probably the most famous COD game. And how long ago was it? 3 years ago? Was it 2016 that they did the COD Modern Warfare remaster? Wow. This is such an evolution, isn't it? But people are excited. People are excited because regardless of the way that I feel, COD is one of those series that just sells and sells and sells and sells. It has its annual franchise loyalists, as do Madden, FIFA, and all the rest of that tribe. And here we are. So anyway, they showed some stuff off, and they announced that part of the content is going to be the new, well, say the new Spec Ops. Spec Ops mode's coming back. Because this is how they do new stuff in COD. They take it away for a few years, and then they bring it back. And I'm not even being cynical. That's exactly what they do. They take something away from the game, leave it a few years, put it back in, and call it new. But there we go. So the Spec Ops mode is coming back, and there is a survival mode in there, because I think it's a subcategory. And this is going to be play first on PlayStation 4. Right, okay, it's a timed exclusive. PC, Xbox, they're going to have to wait. Sometimes they normally wait, 3 months or so? Right, you can just see at the bottom, just see this little grey sort of merging into the black. If I was to just blow it up for you, I wish I could. Timed exclusive content until October the 1st, 2020. Sorry, what? October the 1st, 2020. Now, as I've just mentioned, Call of Duty is an annual franchise. And it's one of those games that when the new one comes out, everyone abandons the old one and goes to the new one. And that's where the bulk of the people will be. So next year, whatever it's going to be, whichever COD game they decide to resurrect next year, they're going to put that out and people are going to jump to it. So essentially, in essence, Xbox players, PC players, they're not going to get this mode. Because by the time it comes out, unless you are an absolute Call of Duty loyalist, which demands that you play it all year and never play anything else, probably are a few players like that, trust me, then you will get to experience it. But otherwise, it'll be the normal sort of thing. You'll play for a couple of months, you'll drop off, and then you'll be like, oh, there's a new COD coming at the end of the year. So there's this mode that's put in that's being held purely for the PlayStation players. And you know me, I love my PlayStation. I think it's a better console than Xbox. That's why I choose to purchase most of my console games, well, essentially all of my console games on the PS4. But it's for no other reason than I think it's a much better console than the Xbox One. The next generation, who knows? Who knows? But literally starving people who are paying the same amount of money for the product of content because it's an exclusive deal with Sony is absolutely despicable. Absolutely despicable. I mean, it's frustrating even if it is 3 months. They're going to have a timed exclusive for 3 months. But at least you know it's going to come out in a period of time that you might still be playing the game. You might not, but you might be playing the same game. Anyway, there has been a response to this from Infinity Ward, and it is just loopy. Like, loopy in a crazy way. Oh, by the way, this is from Eurogamer. I just want to stress this, because this is our friend Wesley. Wesley, how you doing? So I will link this in the description box down below for you to go check out in its entirety. But this was updated. And Infinity Ward's narrative director, Taylor Kuruski, maybe, has responded to complaints over the Call of Duty Modern Warfare PS4 timed exclusive for the survival mode of Spec Ops, pointing to decisions that are above our pay grades. In other words, Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate washing his hands. Ooh. Above our pay grades. Now, the sad thing is, he's actually probably correct. He is probably correct. But they work heavily in unison with Activision. And I'm sure they could have had some logistical say in how this content is going to be dispersed. Even if their voice fell onto deaf ears. To say, not to do with us, kind of feels a bit laissez-faire. However, it goes a little bit bonkers when you put everything together, because he puts out a set of tweets and he says, we do our best every day to give our players the best experience possible. There are decisions that are above our pay grades that have to be considered. I understand your feelings, but this is much better than others I have seen. Come again? This is much better than others you've seen. Okay, so this is the decision that Taylor thinks is better than others he's ever seen. We basically don't give them the content. What the hell were the other ideas? Seriously? What were they? Oh, let's not give them the game. We'll put the whole thing on a timed exclusive. They can buy it, but we'll lock it for 6 months. How can that be anything better than essentially the PC and the Xbox people aren't going to get to play this? At all. Ever. Then Taylor continues in a second tweet to say, it's all good, to somebody who says, I hope, you're not taking this so personally. We have tried our best to have an open dialogue with our players from day one. We understand letting that trust down. No. Stop being a liar. I hate it. I really absolutely hate it when people just come out and lie to your face. You haven't tried to have an open dialogue. You've had this squirreled away. You've not mentioned anything about it. You haven't given Xbox people a heads up. You haven't given people, PC people a heads up. You know the popularity of the series. And whereas they are aware of certain timed exclusive when it comes to maps, etc., this is a whole mode they're not getting to play. You chose not to tell them. You could have easily have told them. So don't give us any bullshit about we try and have an open dialogue. No, you don't. Stop giving platitudes. God, I hate these people when they do stuff like that. These are complicated decisions. They're not complicated. There is no complication. Sony and Activision have a deal in place. I believe this deal is up until 2020. Deal in place. But the deal so far, when it comes to maps, etc., as I mentioned, has only been for a couple of months. 3 months or so, tops. So there's nothing complicated about taking a whole mode and saying, well, we want it for the whole expansion. Nah, that's not complicated. That's money. There's a slight difference between the two. Complicated my anus. Please, no, we want what's best for our players. No, you don't. You don't. If you wanted what was best for your players, you would have fought to have this timed exclusive much, much reduced than the whole expansion. So, Infinity War essentially just liars. Just liars. Washing the hands with it. Not our fault. We try and talk to you, but we don't. It's complicated, but it isn't. And we want what's best for you. We don't care. We don't care. Let's just put cards on the table, shall we? Survival is 1% of the game, he continues. The other 99% is simultaneously day one across all platforms. Really? That's a hell of a statement to make. Oh, this timed exclusive, it's just a meager 1% of the game. Do you think they went to Sony and said, hey, Sony, we've got this 1% of the game, just this meager, tiny little bit of content, really inconsequential at the end of the day. But because we have the deal with you, you can have it for the whole year. Do you think they sold it to Sony like that? Fuck off. Hey, we've got this Horde mode. It's quite a popular thing when it comes to games now, third-person, first-person shooters. How long can players last out for? They would have sold it a completely different way. So it's all so manipulative and just cynical beyond belief. I'm not saying this is the main brunt of the game. The main brunt of the game when it comes to COD is the multiplayer. Everybody knows that. People are going to have enjoyment with the first-person mode, the single-player mode. Sure. But the bulk of people are going to play the multiplayer, the online multiplayer. But this is a facet of the game, definitely not 1% of it. Definitely not 1% of it. But this is a facet of the game that even if it was going to be a timed exclusive, should have been released in good time for everybody to enjoy before the next annual edition came around. And it's not. It's not. This whole thing has been mishandled, but what a surprise. It's Activision. It's Activision. But, and Sony, you know, I can't, you know, let Sony away scot-free here. They have this deal, but you can see it's Activision at the end of the day who are going to go to Sony with, hey, this is what we can do for you. This is what we can do for you. So you can stick all your we want what's best for players right where the sun doesn't shine, right where you called it from. Your ass. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.